Hello everyone, and welcome to the second reading of this rather chilly Friday evening here in South Africa. I am using the Tarot of the Abyss for this reading because I think that Meghan, in my opinion, is rather staring into the abyss at the moment, as Tom Bower's book, the publication date of Tom Bower's book, draws ever nearer. Apparently he has finished the book and it is with the printers. Still, as far as I'm aware, no actual publication date announced. All, of course, the attention is with Tina Brown and her book at the moment, so perhaps they're just holding off until that's died down a bit before they actually release the book. I don't know. That's just my idea, my speculation. But Tarot of the Abyss, we're going to look and see how Meghan is feeling about this book. Allegedly, according to Neil Sean, she is going to take a preemptive action against this book on her podcast with Spotify, focusing on the topic of betrayal. Tom Bower has apparently talked to many people who knew Meghan in the past. I don't know whether this includes husbands and old friends, friends from childhood, friends from school, ex-boyfriends. It's very interesting to see who he has managed to get to open up. Of course, the Harkle family are always willing to speak, so no doubt the family has been involved in this. Just my opinion again. But we're going to have a look and see. Just a quick 5-card reading using the Tarot of Abyss. How does Meghan feel? Out comes the whole deck. What is she going to be doing on her podcast about this? And what does she fear? What is the betrayal that she fears? What people will be saying that Meghan is so worried about? One more. And the outcome of this book for her. I have, of course, read on this book before, and I'm sure I will be reading on this book again. So here we go. Death by 1,000 cuts for Meghan, as some people are saying, and I'm going to be reading on that too, because a very interesting eclipse season coming up. A lot of bad news for the Harkles at the moment, though neither of them is a Scorpio or a Taurus. It's on that axis, but still it's interesting. It does affect the royal family profoundly, the eclipse season that's coming up, and we'll be looking at that. And there we are. There's the 5 cards, and the very interesting underlying energy of this reading is the Tower card. The Tower in reverse, of course. Always a disaster when you get the Tower card. A catastrophe, a shock, a blow. Your whole world falling down, falling apart. That when you least expected it. I think she thought by now that she'd be safe. That all whatever unsavory stories were lurking out there had been cleaned up, had been disappeared. People had been silenced. Silence had been allegedly bought. People didn't really want to get involved in mudslinging anymore by now. She's been around for long enough. I think she thought she was safe. Tower in reverse tells me not safe. Tower, of course, in reverse can mean trying to recover from this. Can also mean that this is such a blow she cannot recover from it. And Tess is having a very busy afternoon barking at the neighbours. I do apologise. But the Tower in reverse for me tells me that this is bad. This is as bad can be as far as Meghan is concerned. And she may well have been alerted already to the fact that certain people have told certain stories that she does not want out in the public domain, and being forewarned. Perhaps lawyers have seen copies of the book. I'm sure that Tom Bower, he's a very experienced author. I'm sure the publishers are being very careful that nothing in that book can possibly be the subject of litigation, and that if claims are made in the book, quite shocking, scandalous claims, they will be backed up. People who made them will be able to defend them. And so it looks from this card, just the underlying energy of this reading, that Meghan is braced for bad news. She has just hired a new PR person, the Obamas' PR person, one of their many PR people, but does not look like she is enjoying this at all. So the situation from Meghan's point of view right now: justice, karma. It is upright. So if it was in the reverse, it would be feeling that things were very unfair, but that card is, of course, legal proceedings, and perhaps there have been lawyers involved, and perhaps behind the scenes there has been some kind of toing and froing about potential litigation and threats and lawyers' letters. Just my opinion. I'm completely speculating. I'm not claiming to state any of this as fact. But the Justice card is about lawyers. It is about the law. It is about legal proceedings. It is, of course, also about fairness. It can also be about truth, and it can just simply mean that she is getting some karma coming her way, and that some karma is justice is being served with this book. This is from her point of view, so let's see how she feels about this book right now. King of Cups. Emotional. She's emotional about it. She is... Yeah, she's very emotional about it. Curiously, the King of Cups has been coming up a lot in my readings with regard to Meghan. And the King of Cups that springs to mind is father. Father. And perhaps father is the one that has really spoken to Tom Bower. Speculating, my opinion. But King of Cups, the father she left behind, the father she ghosted, the father she will have nothing to do, wants nothing to do with, the father who is apparently going to the Jubilee. Meghan doesn't seem herself is going to be going to the Jubilee in London. But there it is. There's the King of Cups. This is about a father figure. This is about somebody she has a very strong emotional connection with. And I think she's not going to like reading what he has to say, if he indeed has spoken to Tom Bower. So what is going on with the podcast? What is Meghan going to do? Neil Sean says, allegedly, she is going to be talking about betrayal, people who have betrayed her. What is going to happen in the podcast? And we get, wow, yes, there is the betrayal card. Neil Sean seems to be spot on with his insight. The Ten of Swords is literally the betrayal card. Stabbed in the back with 10 swords. That wretch lying there, somebody else sort of sauntering off while this person lies pinned to the ground with all those swords. It is in the reverse, and I'm going to read this 10 of Swords in reverse, as I have read the Tower in reverse, as ultimate betrayal. She's going to be talking about ultimate betrayal. I would say ultimate betrayal by men, because not only her father is a King of Cups, but also her ex-husband Trevor is a King of Cups. He is a Scorpio, as far as I can remember. I haven't thought about Trevor for quite a while. Perhaps Trevor has finally spoken about life with Meghan, and this is the ultimate betrayal as far as Meghan is concerned. Pillow talk and whatever else that is now going to be revealed. More than just pillow talk, I think all kinds of things that Trevor probably knows about her that she does not want us to know. Very interesting card, this, because it is the card of betrayal, backstabbing, treachery. This is, if she decides to cut loose on her podcast about these kinds of things, it could really go very badly for her. I'm not looking at that in this reading, but wow, 10 of Swords and the Tower sitting together in this reading. And the Justice card as the central issue of this reading. So let us see, what is it that Meghan fears us finding out, Tom Bower revealing in his book. What doesn't she want us to know? And very interestingly, we get a Page of Pentacles. Pages, of course, are children. Children. Among other things, there are communications and messages, and could be merching and things like that as well, because the Page of Pentacles is about contracts and negotiations and deals, putting deals together. So she might not like the idea that we find out about deals that were put together in the past and perhaps are still ongoing. But also an earth sign child, Archie, the earth sign child, birthday coming up in a few days, allegedly his birthday. A lot of people would dispute that birth date, but there it is. She is concerned about things coming out about children, and in particular about Archie. This is a heavy reading. I'm feeling very, very heavy energy as I'm doing it. This really has downfall potential for Meghan with this Tower and this 10 of Swords and reverse downfall energy. I've been meaning to do a reading called Death by a Thousand Cuts on Meghan, because she's had a lot of bad press recently, but this one is really looking pretty bad, pretty dire. So let's see the outcome. Perhaps I'm just getting melodramatic here in my old age, but let's see the outcome for Meghan of this book. King of Wands. And the King of Wands, I guess, is Tom Bower's energy. I don't get it as Meghan's energy. And I have had this card before. I dimly recall previous reading I did on the book that he was going to be riding high. He was going to be very successful with this book. He was going to be in the media. He was going to get a lot of attention, a lot of praise, a lot of notice for this book. So she does not look as if she's going to be able to silence him. It has a conjurer energy, this King of Wands. He is literally conjuring up a fire, and an all-consuming fire. It has a bit of a magician energy, this King of Wands, but not in a negative sense. The magician sometimes does have a rather manipulative sense. This is just stoking the flames. This is calling something into being, almost this purging, cleansing fire that is coming from this male energy. This is not Meghan's energy at all. This is Meghan's energy. This is her. This is her worried about justice coming her way, I would say. My opinion. Disclaimer, of course, in the box below. Please always refer to it. And the King of Wands is going to really draw a lot of attention. Going to be very successful with this. He has this feeling almost of a hermit, this King of Wands, in the depiction in the tarot of the abyss, that he has spent a long time in the dark, in the night, building this fire, bringing it to flame, and now the heat is on. Literally, I think the heat is on. And how very interesting, because my working title for this reading, I always have a working title, I always write down my questions. The working title for this reading is Burn Before Reading. So I'll stick with that. And thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow during eclipse season.